Welcome to the Trading Bell Show. I'm glad you have joined us and I hope you're keeping well. Now, when it comes to matters, food and everything that you consume, maybe you just take in food, many other products as well that you use, you may not know that there is a component that is quite important. We're talking matters palm oil. And this conversation is quite ripe right now in the country, but I want us to veer off to just focus on matters production and ensuring that this can change the ecosystem of this country. And what has just happened in this country is that we just had an amazing forum, that's the Malaysian Palm Oil Forum, East Africa 2023. And I managed to request the CEO to kindly have a sit-in with us and just really elaborate to us what they were looking forward to getting and really achieve to help our own economies. But first, before we get into that discussion, let's take a look at her profile. Belvinder is a CEO of the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, a member of the International Society of Planters, and a member of the ISP Editorial Committee and ISP Panel Reviewers. She has over 28 years of experience in senior management in the field of global marketing, promotions, communications, lobbying, and issues management, having been involved in strategizing the Council's promotions, public affairs, and consumer education programs and spearheading campaigns to address issues impacting the Malaysian palm oil sector globally. She was involved in, amongst others, addressing and defeating the Truth Palm Oil Labelling Bill, which was introduced in the Australian Senate, and attempts by the French Senate to add an additional tax on palm oil referred to as Nutella tax. Belvinder graduated from the National University of Malaysia with a Bachelor of Arts, Honours in Communications, and obtained her Masters in Business Administration from the University of Strathclyde, UK. She has also attended the Harvard Executive Program. Ms. Belvinder Sron, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
First of all, welcome to Kenya. I hope you have enjoyed a bit of some sceneries around.
I have. I miss this country. I used to travel to Kenya, I think 10, 15 years ago.
Oh.
Yes, it's changed a lot for sure.
It's changed.
So it's brought back very good memories for me, and I certainly was looking forward to this trip.
And I hope you'll extend some more days so that at least you can have some good views.
Yes, we are going to be here for a couple more days and we'll get to see a lot more of Kenya.
Okay.
We are going to be visiting some of the plants and the refineries here. And I'm sure it's going to be a bit more exciting for us.
All right. All right. So great. And I hope you extend your stay as well and have some more fun and watch some few animals.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about what just happened here. And you have had an amazing forum, the Malaysian Palm Oil Forum, East Africa 2023, which was a success. I saw industry leaders in the place, representatives of government as well in the place. Please provide for us an overview of the goals and objectives of this Palm Oil Forum in East Africa.
Right. When we were looking for a place to organize the Malaysian Palm Oil Forum, we thought where would be the best venue for it. And immediately, Nairobi came to mind. You know, when you look at the statistics, Kenya itself, it's a huge importer of Malaysian palm oil. So naturally, it wasn't difficult to decide that we should be here in Kenya. We should be doing more of promotion of Malaysian palm oil. And when you take Africa as a continent itself, you're looking at 1.3 billion people now. And that is going to probably expand to, you're looking at 2.4, 2.5 billion people by 2050. It wasn't difficult to even consider why should we not be having the Malaysian Palm Oil Forum in a country here in Africa, and Nairobi was definitely the place that we chose. Yeah, so we've had a very good turnout of people that came for the forum. We had a large delegation from Malaysia. I had about 25 people following the Deputy Prime Minister. And we had government officials coming along with us. We had industry people. And just as when we announced the forum, that was 3 months before the actual date, we found that people were so enthusiastic to come along with us. There was a lot of excitement because yes, Kenya is an important buyer of Malaysian palm oil, but many of the Malaysian companies are also keen to explore new opportunities here in Kenya. And you saw today we had about 300 people attending the forum. That was an excellent turnout. And people stayed on from morning right up to the evening when we had the panel discussion.
All right. Yeah. Great. And I'm keen to find out from you, and what key messages and outcomes did you hope to achieve, and probably did you achieve them in the event?
Well, from the discussions we had, I know that people were keen to learn more about oil palm, about opening up more plantations here. They were also keen to learn about the health benefits of palm.
Yeah.
People were also keen to learn about the successes that Malaysia has had in planting oil palm.
You're right.
Let me just take you back about what Malaysia has done in the past.
Sure.
You know, why have we become now one of the largest producers of oil palm or palm oil in the world?
Yeah.
I have to take you back to history. Oil palm was brought in from West Africa.
That was an interesting review.
Yes, that's right. So it came from the African continent, but we planted it as an ornamental plant at that time. It was just, you know, it was purely for making things beautiful out there. It was a beautiful plant. We had the first commercial planting in 1917. We had a Frenchman called Henry Fauconnier who traveled to Malaysia because someone told him that he could make his money out in Far East. And he saw the oil palm and he said, yes, this probably could be the next crop that I would want to consider. And he planted it, and true enough today, where has it taken us? We have become the second largest producer.
Right.
It has changed the lives of people in the country, especially the smallholders. And there was a time when Malaysia was depending a lot on rubber and on tin mining.
Yeah.
Those were two large commodities produced by the country. But we also realized that we needed to diversify our economy.
Yeah.
We couldn't just depend on these two large sectors here.
Yeah.
So that's when we introduced oil palm as a crop.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of land that was opened up for farmers, and these were farmers that didn't own any land.
Yeah.
So the government decided that the farmers that didn't have land should be provided land to plant oil palm, because it was a crop that could provide them a sustainable living after that.
Yeah.
And true enough, today it is a model that has been talked about by many, many countries. The World Bank at one time even recognized oil palm as a crop that would help with poverty eradication. And it happened exactly in Malaysia.
Wow.
Oil palm has helped to uplift the standard of living of so many small farmers. It is really the story of small farmers, you know.
Yeah.
People who have struggled for years and people who have seen their lives change just because of palm oil, planting oil palm as a crop.
Okay.
And this has allowed them to send their children to schools, send their kids to universities. Families had had a better life.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, you know, today 28% of the total oil palm area in Malaysia, which is only 5.67 million hectares that's planted with it, is owned by the small farmers. Wow. So that's an amazing story that we keep repeating. It's a transformation that has done to the lives of the people.
You're right, and certainly we may need to hear this story more and more so that at least we can borrow from that. And, you know, speaking, I think from that elaborate answer that you've given, I pick a lot of things from there. It could form a whole discussion, but I just wanted to dwell on the transformation ability it has from where you sit. And I love the fact that you said this came from Africa first to you. From where you sit, I'm sure you can see the potential that is there. And you're here definitely with those eyes, definitely. What is this that you can see as a leveraging opportunity that Kenya, East Africa can do together with Malaysia so that at least we can as well start tapping on the potential that you have explained now?
The opportunities are a lot. One, for example, there could be more technical collaborations.
You're right.
I know there's a lot of interest to open up areas to plant oil palm.
Yeah.
And certainly we would encourage Kenya to do that.
Yeah.
There would be collaboration in terms of providing technical expertise from Malaysia, because we have probably mastered the art how to plant oil palm in our country.
Certainly.
We have got a history of more than 100 over years for planting oil palm.
Yeah.
So their collaborations can be done in those areas, technical expertise for your people, for your farmers. We can even have your farmers coming and visiting Malaysia, coming and seeing some of the small farms that we have and coming and talking to our small farmers in our country. Just exchange of ideas, exchange of knowledge, and seeing what more you can do so that, you know, there could be benefits that could be even made for Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you see it on a global perspective, because some of the companies that you engage with are actually countries that you engage in your importation and, are just having this business dealings that you have under the palm oil. And I'm keen to ask you, in terms of barriers of trade, because there was a whole conversation about us having better and better ways of trading, so that if palm oil is coming from your end, we are not as well imposing tariffs on you and the likes and all that kind of thing. What is this from your purview? Can the government of the day, and even just governments of the day in East Africa, because you're here on that particular forum, what can we do so that at least these partnerships are a win-win for both of us? Anything in your purview?
Well, I wouldn't want to get into areas that, the government may have to make decisions on.
Yeah.
But certainly if you're looking at providing affordable food for your people,
Yes.
It's important to then consider palm oil, because palm oil is one of the cheapest sources of food around. Affordability is important.
Okay.
Its techno-economic advantages are really very, very important.
Yeah.
Food manufacturers today like to use palm because it's cholesterol-free,
Yeah.
it's trans-fat-free, and it can be, it's available all year round because it's a perennial crop. So the government has to decide what is good for its people. If I go back and look at Malaysia,
Yeah.
the government decided years ago that this is an important crop because it has transformed the lives of people. It's helped in poverty eradication.
You're right.
And most important, it actually contributes a huge amount to the government revenue today, because more than 85% of what we produce is exported. Remember, Malaysia is a very small country. We only have a population of 33 million people. So whatever we produce, the 18.45 or 19 million tons, we can't consume everything. We only consume about 3.5 million tons.
Okay.
Our export markets are important. So we have to export.
Absolutely.
And that's the revenue that we receive from that. And
Yeah.
it has contributed immensely to the revenue for the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's now veer off to the sustainable practices that accompany this business and solutions in the industry. How are you addressing concerns? Because we have people sometimes who say here and there things out there on environmental impacts within the industry.
Well, there are concerns for an agriculture crop that it may be coming from areas that are deforested. But I like to always put that into the right context.
Yes.
Is Malaysia deforesting? Let us just be very clear. 54% of the land area in Malaysia is still under forest cover. It was a commitment that the country made at the 1992 Rio Summit, and it said that it will maintain 50% of its land area in forest cover, and today we maintain more than that. We maintain 54%. Yes. Oil palm only occupies 17% of the total land area of Malaysia. So that's the first commitment we've made in terms of sustainability.
Okay.
Now, secondly, we know that consumers out there today are demanding for sustainable palm oil, and Malaysia as a country has taken it very, very seriously. We have ensured that today we want to make sure that all the plantations and all the production from the country is certified sustainable. So we now have the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil Scheme, which is a national mandated scheme where everyone has to be certified as sustainable.
Okay.
So when you say certified as sustainable, meaning the product at the end of the day, the oil that's produced is a sustainable oil because it is being produced according to certain criteria that you have to follow, some principles and criteria.
All right.
Yes.
Great.
So every consumer out there today is assured that the oil that's coming out from Malaysia
Yes.
is an oil that is sustainably produced. And we are very proud about that. We are proud to talk about it.
Yes.
There are not many agriculture crops that are certified sustainable. Oil palm is certified not just under one certification scheme.
Yeah.
We have various certification schemes. We have the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil. We have the Malaysian Certified Sustainable Palm Oil.
Yeah.
And we have other countries that have their own certification scheme. So it's one crop that is being certified by different schemes out there. So that is how serious we have taken sustainability. Yes.
Absolutely. And certainly that's the direction we need to be going.
Yes.
We're going to take a break, but once I come back, we'll be talking about the promotion of responsible consumption of these particular products. We're taking a short break right now. We'll be right back speaking to the CEO, Belvinder Sron, Chief Executive, Malaysian Palm Oil Council. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching The Trading Bell, and I'm here with Ms. Belvinder Sron, the Chief Executive Officer, Malaysian Palm Oil Council. And she's quite optimistic of what changes this industry can do if we did embrace this good practices and, of course, embracing the palm oil industry in itself. Thank you so much once again. And moving on, let's talk about doing what you are doing to promote responsible consumption of palm oil as part of a balanced diet. We have a lot of misconceptions out there. I don't know how you're dealing with that as a lead producer.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I tell people is this is a very balanced oil.
Okay.
We've got 50% saturates and 50% unsaturates. It's a healthy oil.
Okay.
Cholesterol free for sure, and trans fat free.
Yeah.
For consumers, that's important. You know, it's an oil that's rich in vitamin A and vitamin E.
Yeah.
And when you talk about vitamin E itself, many people know there are two vitamin E's, that's the tocotrienols and the tocopherols. A lot of people may know about the tocopherols, but palm is very rich in vitamin E tocotrienols. So that is one aspect that we always talk to people who want to use palm oil. Because of the vitamin E, there's a lot of stability. When you want to use an oil in your frying, you want to make sure the oil doesn't oxidize, so it can withstand high temperatures. And that's where you use palm. And food manufacturers love it for it. If you want to do your, frying of your noodles or frying of your food, you want long shelf life, you cannot compete with palm oil at all.
You cannot.
I can assure you, you cannot compete with palm oil at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secondly, on trans fat. A lot of countries are legislating on trans fat. Trans fats are extremely bad for health.
Yeah.
You see, when you use soft oils, if you want to do a component for making solid fats, for example, you have to harden the oil.
Yeah.
When you do that, you have to add hydrogen to it, and you create a process called trans fatty acids, and trans fatty acids are known to be bad for health. So countries are now legislating to either reduce or even remove trans fats from food formulations. So I'm pleased to say that you've got a product here that's coming from Malaysia that is trans fat free. And food manufacturers can feel very confident using it, that they're providing a product that is healthy and that is trans fat free to consumers.
You're right.
It's a great product. It has been used for years. It's just that there's a lot of misconception about it.
Okay.
I just hope that consumers will start appreciating that palm is a wonderful product.
Yeah.
And you should never be hesitant to use it at all. I mean, I'm a person who has grown up just using palm oil in my house. I would never use any other oil. And I can assure you it's the best oil, be it for frying, be it for stir frying, even for large scale manufacturing. Manufacturers just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great product that we
As I
have.
say, somebody at home, maybe that's what you have taken just now. So as we come to a close of this conversation, I'm keen to ask you, the industry in general, looking at it, because from the lead producers, you are almost holding the globe, because I saw supplies to China, to India, Africa, at last. That's why you're here as well. What do you see? Because every business, as we say, has its own headwinds, challenges that you're facing. And I'm also keen to hear from you. And I know there could be a myriad of them, just maybe one or two, and what you're doing to really address them.
Our biggest challenge has been on sustainability.
Okay.
There's a lot of questions being asked, is this a sustainable product? Well, I would tell people that you are getting a crop that's extremely sustainable for a simple reason. Once you plant it, from the time it starts to produce the oil, it's going to be there on that same piece of land for the next 25 to 30 years. Now you tell me, isn't that sustainable?
It is, definitely.
Unlike other crops where you may need to clear the land after every 9 months, you have to replant. This is a crop where you plant and it's going to be there for the next 25 to 30 years.
Lovely.
That's sustainability.
Right.
Now, the second most important thing we must remember is that it provides sustainable income to people.
You're right.
Which other crop does that? When it's there for the next 25 years, I'm assured my small farmers are assured of a income that comes in sustainably for years to come.
Yeah.
And that's what provides them a better life.
You're right.
The oil palm story is the story of the small farmer. It's a story of poverty eradication. It's a story of meeting the needs, not just about people from my country, but about the needs of people of other countries.
Absolutely.
So we are doing a global service. If you look at the oils and fats dynamics in the world, there are not many countries that are net producers of oils and fats. Some of the countries are Malaysia, Indonesia, countries like Canada, Russia, Ukraine, Brazil, Argentina. But two of the largest producers of oils and fats are Malaysia and Indonesia. Most other countries are net importers. You don't have sufficient oils and fats. You have to import.
You're right.
So we're in a very good position to cater to the needs of people out there.
Okay.
So oil palm is also a very good crop in terms of food security.
Yeah.
So I would say that people need to start appreciating about the role that palm oil is playing in the world today in terms of food security, in terms of poverty eradication, in terms of changing the lives of the smallholders. What better crop can you have?
And by the way, thanks a lot for that. But before I end now, I'm looking at you seated there, the CEO, Malaysian Palm Oil Council. You're a global CEO, and definitely there are people who are watching and they're saying, wow, what a leader. And there could be a lesson or two there, especially that could address to especially our lady comrades as well, who would be saying, wow, I wish I may have had a chance to speak with her. So I'd like you to just shed a thing or two, an encouragement or a leadership tip that you may have as well for them. What made you this successful?
It's been a long journey.
Oh.
It's been a very long journey for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in this sector for 30 years now. Yeah, I've climbed up the ladder.
Yeah.
I've learned the ropes. I've done my hard work.
Yes.
Never be afraid of working hard and never be afraid of taking any risk nor any challenge. Life is about challenges. Some people may say you may not be able to do something and prove them wrong. I don't think there's such a thing that a woman can't do. A woman can do anything. Everything is possible. It's about having the right mindset. If you've got the right mindset, any challenge can be small.
You're right.
But at the end of the day, if you're a leader, I always believe you must have a team, a good team to support you.
Absolutely.
You cannot do things on your own. Right. So teamwork is extremely important. So that's what I believe even in, as a CEO of the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, it is really the team that matters. Absolutely. And I've got a great team back home in the HQ. I've also have a great team out there who are my regional managers who are doing the promotion work on a daily basis, promoting Malaysian palm oil out there. So to ladies out there, I would say, never be afraid of a challenge. If someone says you can't do it, prove them wrong. You can do it.
You can do it.
Anything is possible in life.
Yes. That's the attitude. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And Ms. Belvinder Sron. And once you go back to your team, say hello to them as well.
I will.
And I look forward to seeing you more. I'm sure there are more partnerships now that you've signed in.
Oh, I can assure you that we will be probably making more trips down to Africa.
Wow.
Not just Kenya.
Yes.
Probably even to the other countries around here.
Yeah.
This is the place that we want to be. This is the future.
Yes.
This is where we are going to promote palm oil more aggressively.
And our population is growing.
Yes, it is. Definitely. Yes.
All right, there you have it. That is Ms. Belvinder Sron, the Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysian Palm Oil Council. Very optimistic about the industry, the sustainability of it. And of course, think about it this way. When you invest in a bond or something of that sort, when you plant that palm oil, she says you got a lifeline, 20, 25 years. Thank you so much for your time here. First of all, I leave you right now with the markets. Catch you later.